Oh hey, Jill here, and you're listening to Organized Chaos with Jill. I'm your host and mom of three, and this is the show where we chat all the mom things and then some. So grab your coffee or whatever it is that gets you through the day, and let's get to it. Welcome to episode 5. Today, we are going to be chatting about a topic that I think hits home for just about every mama out there. We're talking about mom guilt. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom like myself, a working mom, or somewhere in between, mom guilt just comes with the territory. So in today's episode, I want to unpack a little bit about what mom guilt is, what it means, and then I'm going to get a little personal and kind of share a story or kind of a little snippet of what is going on in my life right now and how it relates to different forms of mom guilt that I'm kind of feeling these days. And then I want to wrap up by kind of talking about how we can get through mom guilt together. So let's dive in. What is mom guilt? We hear this thrown around all the time, but what is it really? In short, we're not doing enough. It's what we feel, right? Now, mamas especially, we often overthink, overanalyze, compare ourselves to others. It's not even somebody's telling us we aren't enough. It's like we're creating these thoughts in our mind that we aren't living up not just to our own expectations of how we should be as mothers, but society's expectations of what we should be as a mom. And we're failing. And, mom guilt comes in so many different forms. There's so many different examples. It's not cut and dry. It can be as simple as screen time. Maybe you're letting the kids watch TV or play on a tablet or something, and then you start to feel guilty because you feel like maybe it's taking away from quality time that you could be spending with them or creative play that you could be doing with them, and it starts to make you feel bad about it. It can be, if you're a working mom, it could be understanding that work-life balance. Maybe you feel guilty because you have to leave in the morning to go to work and you're leaving the kids or dropping them off somewhere, whatever it may be. It could be, self-care, discipline, comparing yourselves to other. Comparison is they say comparison is the thief of joy, right? Social media is amazing sometimes, but also can totally be awful other times. It makes us, we see these other moms and they are absolutely crushing it, the Pinterest moms, all this stuff. And we see this reel and we feel like as mothers, we cannot live up to that expectation. They're so much better than us. It just creates a whole different level of mom guilt. And it's a lot. The list can go on and on. There are so many different examples. I could probably spend hours talking about different examples of mom guilt and relating them to some point of my life, or, you could do it with some point of your life. I promise I'm not going to keep you here for hours. But I do want to dive into something a little bit more personal for me and currently kind of where I'm at and how it pertains to the mom guilt that I've been feeling lately. So I guess I would categorize the mom guilt as I'm not present. And what I mean by that is although yes, I am physically here with my kids, my mind is kind of distracted, and that creates a different level of guilt as well, right? We're not giving our all into our kids when I feel like I should be all the time, no matter what. And so let me get into a little storytelling mode. For those of you who don't know, about 2 years ago, my husband, the boys, and I moved in with my mom. And it was supposed to be a mutually beneficial type thing where we were going to save on rent. We were going to have some help with the kids. My mom was going to get some money from us to help her financially. She was in a big house by herself. It was, she wasn't going to be alone. We were going to be able to help with things. The list goes on and on. And at first, it was good. I don't think it was ever great, but it was good. But then ultimately, there was a very big shift. And we noticed that my mom just seemed to have more aggression, seemed to be a little bit more judgmental in terms of how we chose to parent our kids, and it became tough. Now, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Recently, she was diagnosed with dementia and mood disturbance. And ultimately, now that we have that diagnosis, it's apparent that it was impacting her, early on into when we moved in. It wasn't right away that we noticed it. It was after a couple months, and then, unfortunately became too much. And this illness has been causing her to almost like make up stories or have delusions. And I'm not going to go into every detail. I don't think it's fair to her to share every detail, but it caused a lot of friction and a lot of animosity between her and I, and her and my family. And ultimately, we ended up moving out with the kids to basically get away from that turmoil. But unfortunately, a lot of damage was already done. In my mom creating kind of these stories and moments that she was sharing with people, it caused turmoil and friction between her family, her extended family, and myself. And I'm calling them her family now because I do not feel like I'm a part of that family, unfortunately. And it also caused a lot of friction between her and I. I mean, you have the normal mother-daughter relationship, right? We fight, whatever. But things were getting ugly, to put it lightly. And all that being said, now the blessing in disguise, or the silver lining, is that we were able to get my mom a diagnosis. And, now we are in the process where my mom is going to be moving into an assisted living place and whatnot, and getting care that she definitely, deserves and definitely needs. But on top of that, we're still moving stuff out of the house. I have till the end of the month to do that. And, I feel like that's giving me stress. I am watching my mom fade away. And her mom had Alzheimer's. It runs in her family. But, she was one of 7. She had siblings to lean on, and her father was very involved. My grandfather was very involved in the care during all that. I didn't really know my Nana. She was very, too far gone by the time that I came around. But, they had a support system. And for me, I'm an only child. I don't have siblings that are helping me with my mom's care, or helping me just even for support as I watch my mom fade away. And unfortunately, my father passed away in 2008, so I don't have my dad to lean on as I'm navigating this. And because of the delusions and the stories and everything that my mother created and shared, I don't have support of the extended family. Now, yes, I have my husband and I have my in-laws, and they have been amazing through everything, but it's still different, right? So now I'm going through this really tough time watching my only parent fade away while being a mom to 3 young babies, that still need me all the time. And I feel very alone in doing it. So it's putting this stress on me. And then now I also have this mom guilt, not just of not being present, but I worry that I'm taking away things from my children. And what I mean by that is, now we're moving and I'm going there from time to time. I'm bringing the kids. The boys love seeing Nana and love going to Nana's house. And what happens is, because I don't know how my mom is going to be that day, some days are amazing, some days not so much. I don't know what I'm bringing my kids into. So I worry about that. And then, it's tough because when I bring them there, I know that they don't fully understand what's going on. They're still young and naive. And I can try to say that Nana's sick or Nana's, not feeling well, but it's hard to really explain what's going on. So when there's days that I go and, you can instantly tell it's an off day for her or she's in a mood, it triggers me because I am a super emotional person. And I mean, I can fight ugly sometimes when I let my emotions get the best of me, especially with my mom. And I think that when she starts kind of putting up these fighting words or telling me I'm not a good parent or that I'm sick, I get really mad. And I don't want my children to see me like that, but also I don't want them to see their Nana like that. I don't want her saying things in front of the kids that are negative, but also I don't want them thinking negatively of her, if that makes sense. So it is this kind of limbo, other sort of mom guilt that I'm exposing my kids to something that's not good for them. But on the flip side, if I don't bring them there, I'm taking away Nana, who is somebody that they love and love spending time with and seeing. So it's difficult. It's tough. And all of this, as much as I want to try to be strong and everything, all of this is really, really taking a toll on me. And it's putting this weight on my shoulders that I didn't even know I had on me until I started really thinking about things. And I think that's part of why I wanted to dive in and do this episode. And it's kind of to calm myself down, but also share with you guys, with my listeners, about mom guilt and knowing that this feeling is normal. Every mom goes through it. Like I said at the beginning, it comes with the territory of being a parent. And I think in sharing my story, I hope that I'm touching somebody else that might not be going through the same thing I'm going through, but might be going through in a similar type of situation or whatever, where they feel like they're not present because of other stuff on their mind and that it's taking away from their kids. And I also think that as we're going to wrap this episode up or kind of go into the next little bit of how I want to talk about it, of getting through mom guilt, I think that's part of why I wanted to share my story, because I'm trying to get through this feeling right now. So I want to connect with you guys. So that's where I'm at lately. Now, along with discussing what mom guilt is and sharing my story, like I just mentioned, I want to talk about how we can get through it. And I think the biggest piece of advice I have for myself, but for anybody else, is also just give yourself grace. I have always loved that phrase when I was in like my fitness moment, my fitness era, whatever you want to call it. And I would miss a workout. I'd be like, give yourself grace. Things happen. Life happens. But it is so true. Give yourself grace. We are not perfect people, but we are still great moms, right? Mom guilt is totally normal. It is super, super common. And I think that when we start to think about how we can work through the mom guilt and, move past these like really negative feelings we might be having about ourselves and beating ourselves up about it, is just acknowledge your feelings. And I know that sounds like super cliche and, I'm not a therapist by any means, but it totally sounds like I'm talking to somebody laying on a couch right now. Acknowledge how you feel and understand that it's okay to feel that way. I mean, I think I started to feel bad that I wasn't feeling present. It was almost like I was guilty about having mom guilt. It was like a whole other level of guilt. But I think that I kind of had to take a step back and think about something like, with my story in particular, like it is a big deal. It's a lot. And it's okay that I'm having the stress of that. And I feel the feelings I feel about that. And it's okay to feel the mom guilt that is associated with it. And I mean, it's the same thing for the small things. It's okay to put the TV on. Like I said, screen time, can be a form of mom guilt. It's okay to do those little things. It's okay if you're a working mom. You can still feel this way. Just acknowledge the feelings. It is a totally normal feeling, and just remind yourself, legit, no parent is perfect, right? Another way to help work through, the feelings of mom guilt is communicating with other moms and connecting with other moms. And, they always say it takes a village and everything from like the start of pregnancy and all through childhood. It really does take a village. You need to have those people that you can rely on. And I think that when you're talking to moms and we're talking to people that know what we're going through, maybe in some way or another, maybe not the exact same situation, but they understand mom guilt. And when we share our experiences and our stories and our emotions with one another, it can be helpful because we're realizing that we're not the only people going through something, right? I think that's part of why I also wanted to put my story out there, because it is like a release in a way to get this out of my head and off my heart and just out there into the world of what's going on and sharing my experience, because maybe it can help somebody else. Because I know when I'm hearing stories, and it's not like a bad thing, I hear you're going through something and that makes me feel better. It's not that. It's realizing that we're not alone in our feelings. We're not alone in having mom guilt. And again, just reminding ourselves that it is a totally normal feeling, and it is very helpful when you're sharing that with people. And you can have some comic relief and things like that. It's just great overall. So find your people, right? Find your tribe, love them hard. Facebook, like I said, social media, this is an aspect where it can be really great. Has so many mom groups that you can connect to and talk to other moms about things. I know there are churches that have mom groups. There are like local town mom groups. There's a lot. So definitely reach out if you feel like you need more of a support of moms to maybe share these stories with, and not just feeling like you have to go about it alone, because you don't. Yeah. Whew. I'm getting emotional in this recording. And then also just remember to celebrate the small things. I'm taking this back to the fitness world because I feel like that's such an easy analogy, but like, those little like non-scale victories, or like I lost a pound. It's still small, but it's an awesome achievement, right? But it's celebrating those small things and the little moments that you have with your kids, because it's in those moments that you, at least for me, realize like I am doing the right thing, and my kids see me as a great mom. And it reminds me that these bigger things that we might be going through, or even the smaller ones that are making us feel this guilt, it's not bad. And, it's not as, or I should say it's not as bad as we think it is, right? Like, again, I said in the beginning, we overanalyze and we overthink everything, and we're like internalizing these feelings, thinking we're failing, and we're not. And those little moments remind us of that. James can be, my cuddle bug, and there's sometimes that he drives me crazy, and then I get so upset because I get annoyed with him, and then obviously this whole other thing that's going on, and he will just like come up behind me and give me a big hug and like kiss me on the cheek, and it's that little moment that I'm like, I'm doing okay. Or when we sit down to do some schoolwork and we're counting, or William is singing the ABCs and he gets all the way to the end and does the whole thing, and even does the like, next time won't you sing with me, that I feel so excited. Or I hear them repeating things that they've watched. Yes, I do allow screen time, and it's fun and it's exciting and it's joyful, and it's those happy moments that remind me that like I'm doing okay, right? So really like relish in those moments, because they're pretty awesome. I just want to really end this episode. I mean, we can do a quick recap, like mom guilt and the feelings and whatnot, but I really don't think it's necessary today. I think you are all aware of what mom guilt really is. I hope that my story inspired in some way, or made you feel less alone if you're going through something, getting down on that personal level. It helped me just getting it out there. And I just really want to end this episode in saying that, remember, you've got this, mama. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. We will see you next week. Be sure to like, follow, and share this podcast. And if you aren't already doing so, follow us on Instagram at Organized Chaos with Jill. We'll have all the latest updates, upcoming episodes, and more. Have a good day. The best is yet to come.